Thank you, Hopkinson. Oh, damn. Almost didn't do an intro tonight. Gotta give a couple minutes for people to get in here. Might stop intros here one of these days. Just get right to the meat and potatoes. Let's get the show started. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. Get set up for this part. And our water bulge is back as well. So while we're waiting for that to load up, thank you all for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family. And we'll let that play for a second while a few people gather and let your eyes kind of look around for a minute before I start pointing stuff out. A lot of activity going on now again on the sun. And note how we start off with this big bright region, and by the time it's over, that region's gone. So that spire was pointing at the inbound objects. There was one blast. There goes the second one. All right, so we have a lot of activity covered tonight. So let me just go ahead and pull up the opening frame. And I debated doing an intro tonight or any more at all because we need to start spending more time just taking care of business. All right, here's our opening frame, 024. Here we are, May 23rd, 2024. Okay. We're deep into it now. So as we progress through, you see what we covered last night, our opening event right here. We saw our little object. Wait, back up right here in the plasma. We zoomed in on that last night. Whoops. But let's continue on with these other events. Now, over here we had this bright spire region, and you can see here comes our event out of that region. Trying to get probably our best frame, maybe right about there, where you can see our circular object with plasma streaming back behind it there. Maybe if I can. That's a tad bit better. Even better. All right, and then we'll dim it a little bit. There it is, right there. Okay, let me get my pointer here. So an object probably right here or something right in there as well. Let me back up a little bit. Oh, Joanne gets to catch a live finally. Good, good, good. Well, welcome, darling. There's our object, I think, right around there. Look over here on this side. You can see something, a little dark spot right here in the beginning of the plasma. So it might be way out front out there. That one's a little hard to see because there's so much. Ooh, right there. You can see this one, and maybe something coming out back there. Yeah, that was the frame right there. All right, so multiple objects. Give them names if you want. You can call them Tiamat, Nibiru. You can call them Scooby-Doo, Shaggy. You can call them whatever you want. Planet W, X, Y, Z. There's more than one. These are little objects that are, well, spherical objects that are interacting with the sun. Oop. This one right up front here, creating this little magnetic X type feature. And then another coming out of that same region. Oops. Ooh. What was that frame? Right probably right there with this dent and the indentation in the instrument right there. So probably looks like a ghostly image right there and one right there. And then something weird down there. That might be the tail end of something. And over here on this side, you can see our darker patches as well. I'm bringing up the screen just a tad bit more there. All right, hopefully you guys were able to see that. Another one squirting out over there. Another one down here. This one, the instrumentation's reacting to it. In fact, you know what? Let's go take a peek and see if stereo A captured any of this. I would like to see what it captured today. Oh, yeah. There we go. There's a good shot right there with plasma streaking back. At least one right there. There's New Insight. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Everybody, thank you for coming here tonight. Look right here. This one right there. This dark patch coming out. Can barely make it out over here. You got to remember these things kind of absorb light. They don't reflect the light, so they leave a dark patch. We'll grab a bunch of plasma, but the object itself kind of is dark in the center here. Well, look right here, dark in the center with plasma going around it, streaking back behind it. And then, where was the other good shot? It was this one on this side over here. You can see this plasma here rushing up on the back side of this. It's moving out slower than the plasma is. The plasma is catching it from behind, gives it a little shove. Yeah, sometimes stereo A captures stuff just a little differently. Ooh. Right there, you can make out our second object, two of them right there. Ooh, almost a third. All right, so there's your activity on the sun for today. All right, well, let's come on over to the solar ham, brighten it back up a little bit, and we'll, there we go. So, let me zoom in real quick here. You'll see today's activity that we just looked at, and a little bit going into tomorrow is not so bumpy. There's not much activity to look at, really, But here you can see our little long duration ones that we had, 3 of them. Okay, so we went from, low indices, smooth sailing with no solar flares. Now the activity is picking up again. All right, it kind of goes ebbs and flows when the quiet side of the sun hits us for a while, and then the active side comes around the limb again. But for the moment here, check this out. Our solar flux indice right here is down to 176. This is the lowest I've seen it in a while. So our solar flux overall, our indices is low. Same with the SSN. It's even lower. Area is still up. That doesn't really matter right now. Our X flare potential still 10%. Okay. We came not too close. We had an M4.2 and a 2.5. Okay. No proton storms going on right now. Even M flare potential is at 60%. Okay. So that's some good news a little bit. Over here, the geomagnetic forecast for the next 3 days, still calling all zeros, but that might change because we had an event come off on the 23rd, which will get here, well, the 26th, somewhere in that time frame. So that the 26th may change here. Meanwhile, we have these 3 big sunspots right here that are beta gamma on these 2, and 79 is still beta gamma delta. It's the one that's rotating off the limb right there. Let's go take a peek at it, shall we? Okay, 3679 right here, almost clearing the limb. That'll be a breathe the sigh of relief when it does. Meantime, we got this one that's right earth directed, earth facing, that's just odd. It's perfectly circular. I showed you last night how it kind of looks like an eyeball or whatever. Very strange sunspot. I've never seen such a well organized. Let me just zoom in really quick. I'm circling around it with my mouse. I might as well just show you what I mean. It's a very circular, well organized sunspot. It hasn't done any activity yet, but we have 2 different connection spots right here. Well, even little ones out in this region here. So it could arc to any of these, that way, this way. So it's still kind of just odd. There's an object right over it, probably a spheroid, doing something right in that region. I bet. These things are showing up all over. They're doing all kinds of weird stuff now lately. Some of it I don't even want to tell you. We'll just continue with this, though. Okay, so we still have the beta gamma delta rotating out of Earth strike zone. We have these 2 that are dangerous as well. All right, our KP index. Now, look, we did take a little hit, but it wasn't much. It was just a short-lived KP4. All right, so it wasn't much. All right, and you can see our auroras are still glowing pretty good. In fact, let's just back out of that. Open up our auroras real quick. Please, Lord. Thank you. I see a little yellow starting to glow in here, so we might have a little event coming up here in a little while. We might see KP5 or something on this next bar, because I see a little yellow starting to show up in there. No events tracking. Let's just track it anyways. Make sure. Oh, here we go. This one right here. Let's take a peek at that, shall we? Please. Jesus, please. Thank you. Righty. So here's our IMF line right here. Okay, here's the Earth, little yellow dot. Boom. Here's our IMF line. This CME that came out of there barely scraped our IMF line, and look, it didn't jolt it. It didn't budge or anything. Usually you'll see a little ripple go down the line. Watch these other lines, how they ripple. They're affected by it. All right, you don't see a hiccup out of ours. Not even a... Yeah, so we shouldn't even be connected IMF to that at all. So that's some good news, really. I'm glad I kind of popped over there. It's important to see, that we are magnetically connected to the sun over on this side over here, not straight on. Okay, even though we look at it straight on, magnetically, we are connected in an arc type shape because of the flow that comes out of the sun. The sun is rotating. This flow would come out in a straight line, but the sun's rotating. So as it comes out, it makes an arc as it ascends away. So our IMF line is representative of that same arc. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Coming back to now, let's get into our article here because there, let's put it right there. There we go. Sorry, I'm all over the place. A number of events facing Earth during the early part of Thursday, the 23rd. The first was a filament eruption that we saw. Okay, that was with our little object pulling this big old thing off of there. Remember, we talked about that last night. So the first was that filament eruption, and that event produced a southeasterly directed CME that appears off the Sun-Earth line. Another event, an M4.2 solar flare around 3690 or 79, was detected at 2. A second CME became visible after 4, leaving the southwest limb area, and also appears to be offline. That we saw that one just now. So additional eruptions were observed in the southern hemisphere and looks to be associated with fainter CME in the latest chronography imagery. All right, additional updates will be provided, shall we? Yeah, why not? Let's pop open this movie and watch a movie. Grab your popcorn, get your soda, let's watch a movie together. I'll put my arm around you. Hold you tight. Hey, they're showing the same stuff I was showing. All right. Thank you, Solar Ham. Moving on. May 23rd, quite a busy past hour on the sun. In addition to the prominence eruption in progress off the southeast limb, the M42 solar flare was just observed around 79 nearing the west limb. All right, that's nothing new. Update chronograph imagery following the filament eruption early Thursday in the southeast quadrant is showing that coronal mass ejection was produced. The trajectory appears to be well off the sun-Earth line. All right, all done there. Let's move on. So, a very, very good article here tonight on this. Oh, we'll get to it in just a second. Actually, let's put part of the map in there. Geomagnetic Storm Watch G1. A minor G1 class geomagnetic storms are possible on May 26th when a CME might graze Earth's magnetic field. The CME was hurled into space on the 23rd by an erupting filament, the one that's kind of going south. So we'll see. Okay, but by that erupting magnetic filament of magnetism near the center of the solar disk. Okay, now let's get on to this because this is going to get important here as we get struck with more electricity. All right. Now, there's certain composites in the soil, certain compounds that conduct electricity more than others. So, rocks and soil electrified by the superstorm. Okay, so not only did the atmosphere and everything else take a hit, but the earth, the ground, the soil took a magnetic strike, an electrified strike. Okay, electromagnetic strike to the surface as well. It induces current through the metals in the ground. There's metals in your dirt, right? So now let's get into it. Across the USA on May 10th and 11th, sky watchers marveled at bright displays of aurora borealis during the biggest geomagnetic storm in decades. But little did they know something else was happening underfoot. Strong electrical currents were surging through rocks and soil. The biggest voltages along the U.S. eastern seaboard and the Midwest were as much as 10,000 times normal. I repeat, 10,000 times normal. I didn't put that in there, they did. A map from NOAA and the U.S. Geological Survey shows that some of the, quote, hot spots during the early hours of May 11th. We'll pop this map open a little bit bigger. Let me finish reading this article, though. Okay, it's important you guys ingest this information, grasp these concepts, and then diagnose your map. Okay, now back in March of 1989, voltages only a little stronger than the one shown above brought down the entire hydroelectric Quebec power system. The resulting Quebec blackout plunged millions of Canadians into darkness. Okay, because we had the Geoelectric. Okay. Now, this time, however, power grids stayed up. We haven't heard of any serious problems so far, reports NOAA. Okay. Now, Bulge leads an effort at NOAA to model geoelectric fields during solar storms. The map above is a snapshot from a real-time display that takes into account the 3D conductivity. Conductivity means electric conductivity of the Earth and ongoing geomagnetic activity. All right, now we're talking about geoelectromagnetic activity in the ground. All right. A computer at the Space Prediction Center crushed the data and produced minute-by-minute estimates of electricity in the ground. Remember when I was telling you we need to release energy or we're going to have electricity coming out of the ground? They're estimates of electricity in the ground. Okay, I started working on this 2011 after NOAA Space Weather Workshop, where representatives from the power industry asked for geological field models. Yeah. See, these people in the power industry need to know where the geoelectric field models are. Where is it safe to lay line? Where is it dangerous? Okay, now I'm gonna pop that map up there for a second, and I'm gonna let you guys take a nice little long look at that for a second. I'm gonna go say a quick prayer and let the cat out. I will be back in 30 seconds. I was not expecting that little delay here, but it's important that you kind of look at this. Now, your purples are your darker colors. Let me adjust this here so you can see your graph. So your purple and whites, okay, are your hot spots that conduct electricity really well. Other spots are colder. They don't conduct electricity very well. All right. Now there's all kinds of regions, and it's for different composites in the soil. For instance, I live in Nevada. We're known as the Silver State because there's a lot of silver deposits in our ground. Okay, other places have other kind of magmatic deposits, have other kind of soil mixtures that conduct electricity a lot better than others do. Now, look at that for just a second here. I'll be right back here. It's important that you kind of evaluate that map and think about, where is a good place where you're not going to get struck from the ground. I'm back. All right, sorry about that, folks. All right, back to the show here. So, very important that you understand how this works. This is the ground conducting electricity, all right? The Earth is already emitting gamma rays because there's so much energy pent up underneath. These are the places that are more prone to conduct electrical current, okay? And that's going to affect grids and stuff if you have, an overcharged area like up here. See that purple area? Well, a lot of people live in that area. We get another good geoelectromagnetic storm. That place will glow white and knock out all the power just because of the energy emitting from the ground. Not because of the solar thing itself, but from the energy emitting from the ground. USGS, Geological Survey. Okay. Sorry, I was kind of breathing. I had to run. All right, I want to check out our little movie, Real-Time Display. That's what I should have popped up and left playing. Oh, please let that work. All right. I'm going to have to save this link here. Okay, now watch as the storm hits. You'll see some areas glow more than others. All right, so kind of interesting hitting this area, this whole stripe through here, all along this region right there. All right, so something about the ground in that area conducts electricity a lot better than the other areas. These areas in here, up in there. All right, so those are regions where you might see a power outage induced by electrical current from the ground, as well as the storm itself. It can induce these longer currents to come out of the ground. All right, so very important. We kind of, I want to keep that link. Let me go back to that real quick and just save that favorites. What's it? Space with the predictions. That's good enough. Yeah. All right, cool. Moving on. I lost all my good links. Sucks. All right, so very important that we kind of monitor this in the future when we have another one of those big storms. And remember, strong electrical currents can surge through rocks and soil. Oh, where was the part here? Let's keep going a little bit. This gets interesting down here. Now, when researchers talk about geoelectric fields, they use units of volts per kilometer. Okay, now volts per kilometer. Earth's crust naturally contains quiet time fields measuring as little as 0.01 volts per kilometer. During the geomagnetic storms, these values skyrocket. Now listen to this. On May 10th through 11th, geoelectric amplitudes exceeded 10 volts per kilometer in Virginia and 9 volts per kilometer in the upper Midwest. Okay, those regions that we were just kind of pointing out, those yellow regions. Now, these are very high. For comparison, we estimate that the geoelectric amplitudes reached almost 22 volts per kilometer in Virginia during the March 1989 storm. This means that May 2024 storm was, electrically speaking, about half as intense as the storm that blacked out Quebec 35 years ago. But that's too close for comfort. Although power companies have taken measures to improve the reliance of their systems, no one would welcome another storm as intense as that of March of '89. Okay, real electric field maps are published 24/7 on the NOAA website. Now we got that little link now too. So that might be a little model that we'll have to introduce during a storm like this again. Okay. All right. So moving on. Here we go into the Schumann now. Have you guys had a bumpy day? I know some of you did because I did. Now we have a very weak field right before just grinding all of a sudden. It's not a buildup. You see how these kind of build up in intensity? They kind of start off weak. Like here at the end, they start off kind of weak and then they build up in intensity. No, this one right here, it got weak and then bam, grinding started. It tapered off. Pressure built up again. We probably had some relief through earthquakes and volcanoes. It tapers off, but then pressure builds up. Bam, bam, really intense right through that one line, and then all of a sudden pressure release, and then another intense grinding, and then release, grinding again, release, grinding again. So all of those are little blasts, little. Okay, let me try to put it this way again. If you had every radio station playing on your radio, every FM and AM radio station that comes in on your radio, every single one of them playing at the same time. Okay, so it just sounds like garbled. You can't even pick one out from the other. It's all kinds of different music blended in with commercials. Just a gnarly mess. And then somebody turns the volume up really loud. That's what the intensity of the whiteness is the volume. That's the how hard it's grinding. It's emitting these frequencies very intensely, then not so intensely, almost gone, to very intensely, to almost gone, or weaker, to very intense, to weaker. So it's just this fluctuation of just impulse after impulse after impulse, this roller coaster ride of, well, emotions, pain, spiritual attack, maybe too. You guys probably experiencing some odd behavior out of people, and you're not quite sure, whoa, what's going on today? People are acting different today. Well, maybe I should go check the Schumann. Well, check it out. Yeah, itchy. Okay, some people get itchy. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second while you're looking at that and read a few comments. I'm in the northeast Georgia, and it seems my area is especially conductive. Maybe that's what I'm feeling, and some scar tissue on my body. It's itching and hurting today. Okay. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Focal behavior, you have no idea. Oh, boy, do I, though. That's just it. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm preparing you for what's coming. All right, so also an indicator of our pressure down below here. When it's grinding like this means we've taken on energy from the sun in some form, and now it has caused pressure so intense that down below the core and the shell are grinding in the little dynamo. We're coming out of it. Let me reboot this for refresh this for maybe some. Okay, so we left off with this little scrub right here, and it's tapering off, naturally tapering off. Okay, it wasn't like a sudden earthquake or volcano just took pressure from a bunch to zero. Okay, and you can see here it was trying to taper off, but then just stopped. Here's another one where it's just this intense blast all of a sudden. Here again, here's a blast all of a sudden. It's not as intense, but it's one of the sudden ones. So you're cruising along, your day's going mellow, and all of a sudden you get a semi truck horn blasted, in your left ear, and it makes you whip your head to the left. You're like, what the heck? So very to make you a little frazzled and keep your nerves very irritated, we'll say. Okay, so pressure, and we've gone through, little bumpy ride today, haven't we? Now let's get on over here, refresh that because it just needed it. Okay, now I've got you set up in our upper jet stream here. Let's just pull this over real quick and zoom on in and let that flow kind of go. Pull out a dimension there. All right, you can see our flow northwest combining with south, combining over this part of the country as well, splitting up, going way up here. See this big violent jerk around it? I wonder what's causing something to split that violently right in the middle right there. It's not right there, but there's something going on, a little one back here. And I bet if we went back in time, maybe just a frame or two, there might have been something there. No. It's okay. Let's just kind of leave that right there. All right, so you see this dynamic. Cold air coming down, rushing across, straight across, mixing in with this warm, moist air, rushing across. Now, this is your upper jet, okay, and it's not your flow down below. So let's pop open this box and kind of take a little parachute ride down through the atmosphere. Here's your lower jet stream, okay, and there's a slight correlation here. The flows all together there. Now, let me take you down to your weather, the level that the weather's at. Okay, you can see this massive storm right here has come all the way down the middle part of the United States, and it's got this huge storm front drawing moisture up. It's just over and over again, we're stuck in this cycle of these storms pulling moisture off the Gulf and racing across that part of the world. Okay, so there's that storm right there. Here's the Pacific, kind of what's brewing out there. Let's see what's going on over here. They got some weather hitting this part of the world right there. That's good enough for that. Let's get on over to our sandstorm now. Particulates is sand and dust. Okay, as you can see, it's just this huge plume coming off Africa, blowing across the Atlantic, depositing sand on the South America. The flow takes it up into here. It's actually getting kind of pulled up this way more so than pulled into the Gulf now, which is nice. Because before we had a connection right through here, and it was taking this wall of sand and pushing it all the way up into America. But for right now, it's just this big, huge thing coming off, this plume coming off the Africa there, as well as some going on in Saudi Arabia and up here in China. 2 different little sandstorms up there. All right, so there's that. And then we'll get into our little anomaly down here as well. It's not on this map, it's on a different one. But let's get on into our SO2 now. We'll take off the wind. And we'll pull around America. We'll zoom on in here. Okay. The country divided. One side bleeding out, the other side kind of patchy. Whoosh. Look, I do that every time. All right. You probably think I manipulate the map, huh? Nah, just the weather. So here we have these blotches again where flooding has taken over and it's stopping the emission of this gas through the area. So neighboring spots, holes that are next to it, produce more. It's just like the balloon with the air inside, and we got a bunch of holes. Well, you plug up some of them, the ones immediately around it will relieve the pressure in that region a little more, because the other one's been plugged up. All right. So you can see a very, a very defined reading of that event, of such activity. Okay, let's come on over. I've stopped off in Oahu in a while. So it's still emitting SO2. Okay, it's Volcano. Here's Kilauea, where most of our quake activity is happening. It's got a SO2 plume now, as well as Maui here is starting to have a little one too. Okay, so it used to be just Oahu. Now little plumes coming out of the other ones as well because pressure is on the rise. We're getting more and more pressure built up. We'll come over to China here, put them in there, daytime. See the difference between day and night? Now you can see over here, they have a big, huge blob. It's like one big bruise of the world. And it's reaching up into this region now and even kind of connecting up into here now. All right, so that whole side, all that right there, is it got a lot of pressure. And that includes, look at North and South Korea filling in here, okay? They're having a lot of SO2 emissions along as well as Japan, all right? Japan's a volcanic island. You can see all these volcanoes running down Japan emitting SO2. Okay, some other regions around the world. What's kind of ironic is, well, let's just come up here and pick out 4 little dots, like 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4 little dots. There were 4 little dots one time, a few years back over here on California, running down the mountains here. And I think it was BP Earthwatch that noticed them and brought them to people's attention. You know, these little plumes like this, there were 4 little ones. And man, that turned the internet around upside down. Everybody was freaking out. And now look at it. Hey, everybody, there's more than 4 dots. By the way, they're all over the world. Crazy. So there's your SO2 report. Get over here to, oh boy. I'm going to do SO4 real quick before we get into the water one. I need to take a deep breath for that one. Meantime, this is SO4. It's another sulfide, okay, another sulfate. It has 4 oxygen atoms per molecule, so it's SO4. It's a sulfur quad oxide, I like to call it, all right? Now, it comes from the ground, and man makes it a pollutant too, but that's not what we're concerned with here. It's the fact that it's all over the place, and that this chemical, SO4, likes to bond with water, okay? The planet is made out of water, and there's water in our air. Now, this is the gas that's in our air. It combines with the water vapor in our air. When you mix H2O with SO4, you get a compound called H2SO4, which is better known as sulfuric acid, H2SO4. So we got sulfuric acid storms, very acidic storms, and it's all over. Mainly very intense, white being the intensity of it, all over the northern hemisphere. Okay, so your rainwater, test it. If you're collecting rainwater, test your water for its pH balance, because there's this sulfide mixing with water, creating sulfuric acid out of water, and make the water very bitter and sour. That's right. Now let's get on over here to our surface temperature anomalies. Oh, everybody take a deep breath. Lord, give him strength. Give him courage. I'm going to turn it. Here we go. a little different than yesterday. Yesterday, this region had filled in yellow, and this was all kind of one turning into one big thing. I see a definite separation compared to yesterday, with this blob maybe being a little more isolated now and not so connected to this feature. Let's just try something. Okay. So there we are. Let's come over to the calendar here. There we are today. Let's go back to yesterday. Let's go back. See, kind of a little more filled in there. Let's go back one more day. So we went backwards in time. It was growing as we went backwards. So now let's go forward. And what I really not here, wait, I'm not concerned about the yellow spot. I'm looking at the area right in between these two yellow spots. Okay, so let's watch that, focus on that area as I go forward through the days now. You can see it right here off the side a little bit. Now watch as I change it from the 14th to the 15th. It should diminish. It did. Let's go to the 16th. Watch it again. It diminished some more. Wait a second. Why are we going through those days? Today's the 23rd. That's old data. We're trying to shove old data. Oh, God. Wait a second here. How about that? Oh, never mind. I thought it was diminishing. Yeah, it was the wrong days on the calendar. Switching 15th, 16th, going, wait a second. This is the 23rd. All right, so here we are, 23rd. And what we saw diminishing has actually gotten bigger in that area right in between the two patches that I was just pointing out. Dang. So we have one kind of big blob out here. This is Tamumasi, and this will be Mount Bryan or whatever. I don't know. Over here comes very hot now over here in China. Big white patch right there. I'm not China, Japan, my bad. Ugh. I get rattled looking at that color. All right, look over here. The yellow that was coming off the shoreline has kind of decreased. All right, we're back down to red. You see cold water kind of close by. So pressure in this area kind of been reduced. Remember we saw that quake there? So it reduced the pressure in that area. Also over here, Java had been releasing a lot of pressure, and it's got cold water right off the shores of the look. Here's the equator right here. It's just below the equator. I mean, talk about tropic, and it's got what? Cold water. Yep, because it's relieving so much energy or so much pressure in this region that it's attracted the only cold water in the region. Yeah, that right there just screams volumes right there. And same with this up here by Taiwan. This is the Earth's little mechanical relief valve system, working. Hopefully we get some kind of relief out here because we need, I don't know, we need some kind of pressure release before we have a big eruption out there. A few other places to look at real quick. Off the East Coast up here, there's a hot water anomaly going. This looks more like just warm water, accumulating down here in this pocket, right? These bays aren't as reliable as, say, open water. Okay, open water here. Now, let's take a peek at this region here between Africa and America. This is hotter out here than it is off the coast, right? So this water's already as hot as it gets in August. And here we are, 3/4 into May. All right, we haven't even seen June, July, let alone the temperatures of August, to heat up the water. We're already there. When I look at this and I see hotter water in this region than off the coast, you're going to get your hurricanes producing here off the coast. They'll come across with the sandstorm. They'll pick up some sand and weaken. But when they get to this region right here, they're going to get intense because there's warmer water right there. They'll grow in intensity right off of this part of the Atlantic right before they make landfall here in the Cuba, Haiti, and then they'll probably come on up or go up the East Coast. But from right now, just by looking at this right now, I can tell any storm that comes off is going to come off intense and then gain intensity over the hotter water right there. Then we got this plume coming off this coast right here. Something going on right here on the coast of Africa right here. Big surge of hot water coming up out of that area. We also have our anomaly, all right, that comes out of this region right here. Okay, so it's not. A lot of people are theorizing hot water that's coming out that's causing the bulge. Well, if there was one of these plumes that would, be right there, like a big old yellow white dot right there, it would make sense. But there isn't. So it could be the little island. I still kind of think this is a dome of water effect that's being caused. This is being caused. All right, let's look at our location. Here's the tip of Africa. You see this little square point on the tip of Africa? It's pointing, boom, right at it, okay? So let's come back over here. We'll get back to this in just a second. Take this, point at it out here. Okay, maybe this region right here. Doesn't seem to be any hotter than the rest. Here's a hotter spot, but it's pointing right in there. Maybe this, but I don't think it's from that. All right, so different hot spots growing all around the world. Where was this? This was trippy last night. Let's put the current on that real quick. You guys are hanging out for a second. Just see how this current runs through. Separates hot from cold, from hot, from cold, from hot, from cold, from hot, from cold, hot. So hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. You're either hot or you're cold. If you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out. So it's not hot water, inducing another, traveling, inducing another hot pocket. These are all individual little pockets. And you can see the cold water reacts by, inundating in between. Okay, so there's enough of that. Let's get on over to our earthquake report now. Oh, boy. So, no deep activity out of this region today. Nothing down below in that region as well. So, let's get on into the system. Very quiet through that region, Vanuatu. Okay, so we get into here. We have a 4.5 down at 35. Over here off of Sumatra, 4.5 down at 60. New quake right here is a 4.9 or a 5 at the Volcano Islands. Wonder if it's a volcano. Here we are, Fulcrum Point, our relief spot here, Taiwan. Whoops, 4.2 at 15. That's still close enough at the surface. And a 4.2 at 10. So 2 little mid-range 4s, relieving energy at that area, keeping that spot, kind of the pressure down in that area and the hot spots down in that area as well. Now, as we come up here to Japan, this is where we see our hot water off the coast right here, Japan. We're 4.7 down at 45. right on the boundaries of 4.2 down at 32. And another 4.2, but this is in that little pocket area down at 175. All right, so we haven't seen in this pocket area in a little while. So 175, it gets deeper in that region, so not necessarily a deep quake. Nothing around this fulcrum point. We have 4 volcanoes in this region going off. Kind of energy we got going on over here. Oh, the bigger one, thank you, is 4.7, really. Okay, so 4.7 there. What made it to the fulcrum point? 3.4. You know what I'm going to have to do now? All magnitudes, please. 2. It looks like just a tad bit made it over 2, and then it got even smaller. So I don't really see a lot creeping in from down there. This looks to be more like localized microquaking from down below. Here's Mount Rainier with 2.3 and a 0.5 on the flanks. Little rumbling going on underneath Mount Rainier. Here's Mount St. Helens just off to the side. It's little microquakes. Down here in this little delta is a 2.1. Just a little microquake activity through there. It's relieving, relieving energy. And let's get in here to the geysers. Yeah, I want to see a lot of small quakes. That's beautiful. A lot of little microquakes is what we want, because that relieves a lot of energy in a small form. So this relief valve doing its job, okay? Antioch, 2.5, nothing to worry about, but 1.3, just I'm watching this area very carefully because we saw a couple of quakes in this region, and if there were ever to be something, I'm looking for indicators of where our potential weak spots would be in case of another big solar event. We could help. So just some of these spots I'm just duly noting really quick so I can for future reference. I don't see. All right, let's come down to these 2 other little spots that had opened up here. And they were down here. They weren't up here. Okay. All right, good. Good. Nothing up in New York area. What's this? An explosion at the quarry. And that's Oklahoma. All right, so getting on down now to our Cocos plate here. We've had 4.6, and what was down here? 5.1 at the surface. Okay, so that's whew. If this was deeper, that'd be energy traveling up, but this is 5.1 at the surface. That's air energy being scrubbed at the plate boundary right there. Onshore or in the water? Ooh. Okay, this is a beautiful example here of what I like to talk about. Let's get this down here. All right. When water inundates the shoreline, okay, underneath the sand is water. You go to the beach, when you dig down 4 feet, you can hit water, or even less. Just depends on how close to the beach you are, right? So all that sand, that area that runs along the beach here is a weak zone because it's water inundated underneath. It's almost like gelatin underneath and can do some liquefaction if shaken, right? So that area that runs along, out here in the water as well, but up on land just inland here is, there's water inundation. Look, you got lakes right here, probably saltwater lake right there that's just inside of this bay here. So a lot of water is underground in this region right here. And this is your weak spot. And you can see a perfect right here in the middle of this cove where everything's all loose and shifty and moving around. You can see the sand flows and all the different activity that goes on in this geologically loose area. It's not a tight area like a bunch of granite squeezed together in a mountain. No, this is a bunch of sand that's just all floating around and gelatin and in some water. So that's a weak spot where we see quake activity, and good. It's releasing energy, but that's down at 203. That makes me wonder if, like, this weak spot has created something. Water is sinking down in this area, deeper down, 203 kilometers down, and maybe causing activity here in a weak spot. South America, just very quiet, oddly quiet. All right. And that's about all she wrote. Oh, wait, we need to come over here. Never mind. Here's all our activity over here. 5.6 on the plate boundary at a depth of 10, scrubbing energy. 5.5, scrubbing energy. 5.0 in Iran, scrubbing Muslims. I mean, energy. That's not on a boundary. Still close to the surface there. It's on a weak zone again, I think. We right on close to the shoreline. See water inundation. Yeah, there's very loose sand in that area, 5.0. We'll have to watch that area now. Coming up here, 4.2 in Turkey. Remember, Turkey had a big quake not a long time ago, but not too long ago is what I meant to say. Come up here. I think we got 2 here. Please, Lord. Oh. All right. There we go. 4.3 at 10, and I saw a second one in there. All right, there's a couple of them. Good, because this is energy being scrubbed here. 4.3, 4.4, and a 4.8, all right in that one location at a depth of 10. Another relief valve. Just here above the Gobi Desert. It's not a perfect one. It didn't have like a big, huge quake with a swarm after it. But here is surface activity and mid-range 4 relieving energy at this area. So, not a new spot to watch, but a spot to watch. Just a tad. Oh, it's on that way. Caramba. All right, enough of that. Let's get some of these instruments down. We'll get into our volcano report, seeing as how I didn't do one last night. Oh, Schumann, get out of there. There we go. Now, open up the volcano report. Now, we've had a lot of quake activity, so our volcanoes are going to be stepping up activity probably as well. Let's take a peek here if we can, Lord. Thank you. And control the mouse. Trying to get this pulled up here. All right. Well, meantime, Luatobi, 6,000 feet. You gonna let me have the 23rd, please? All right, hang on for a second here. It's jammed up. Why are we having issues? All right, well, so we have pressure coming out through our plate boundaries, our fulcrum points, our volcanoes. We're also seeing energy come out in the form of geoelectric magnetic energy in the ground that we saw there. And why won't this thing open? I closed the other pages. Anyways, so it's important that we follow this stuff because I have seen activity increase in my local area. Yeah, I'm going to take a sip of my Monster Energy drink here. I've seen activity, heat plumes coming out of the caldera down at Mammoth, down in that region. So it's going to be happening to a place near you soon. And it's important that we cover volcanic activity because that's going to be a factor here in the future. And it's going to be a second here. I'm persistent. So while you watch that, load up, please, Lord. Can we? Okay, so now let's try pulling up the volcano report, get through that, and then we'll get to our water bulge thing, and we'll talk about that as well, all right? I know you're all waiting to get to that one. Okay. It's working. It's gonna work. Come on. Oh, there we go. This chart right here is all one, all of these little lines are from one volcano here, but let's just kind of, please. Think this is a town and the uplift. It's a town. Thank you. Except they don't label it in English, so we can't really understand the chart. It doesn't say much other than everything in Icelandic. Estimated volume of magma injected into the magma chamber beneath the Stravinsky region during October 23rd or 2023 to late May 2024. Which one's which for what? Huh? It still doesn't really define it enough. So let's move on. Reykjanes, during the last weekend, approximately 200 earthquakes were detected at Stravinsky area. Most of them were magnitudes below 1. This level of seismic activity is similar to last week when we had 40 to 80 earthquakes were recorded each day. Most of these earthquakes are located between Stora and Skrothel and Hagathel mountains or south of Mount Bjorn. Poor Bjorn. A recent news update reported an increase in microseismic activity. Okay, so it hasn't really blown a big thing, but it's having a lot of quakes. It's at 200 earthquakes were detected, 40 to 80 per day. Sakurajima, 7,000 feet. Dukono, 8,000 feet. Popo, Paqueto, sporadic ash, Sangay. Here we go. Sabancaya, 24,000 feet. White Island, Antarctica. A minor eruption occurred at the volcano in Antarctica this morning. Okay, the GeoNet surveillance cameras observed an increasingly rising steam-laden plume above the island. Volcanic activity around ice melts ice. That was just the 24th. Let's get into what was today, the 23rd. Are we having issues? Today, 24th. I could have sworn I clicked on this. All right, there we go. Luatobi, 6,000 feet. Semeru in East Java, pumping at its maximum, 15,000 feet. Okay, Dukono, 10,000 feet. get yourself one of these and get ready to go live on the road. 10,000 feet. Fernandina still got the lava flow arms going down at Popocatépetl. 20,000 feet. Santa Guido Novie. Fuego, 16,000. Nevada del Ruiz back on the semi-active 19,000 semi-active feet. Nevada del Ruiz added back onto the active list. Sangay, 21,000. Reventador, 14,000. Sabancaya, 23. So 23, 21, 24, 19, 20 here. There's some higher altitudes out of these. Okay, pressure's on the rise again. We saw it down at the Schumann level. Okay, so now real quick forecast, just the first couple of days here. In fact, we're just going to back up and get into it. Current conditions, severe weather up here, northern part of the plains, Montana, Minnesota, South Dakota. That's your current conditions going into the morning. Tomorrow morning, the 24th, we're going to have severe weather up in there. Anywhere along this corridor, too, the way things are going, and the sphere activity I witnessed today. I don't know how to describe it. There's clearly more going on than we thought. And now they're really doing a number with the weather. So there's your morning of the 24th, noontime. Don't forget about this snow on the backside. Okay, that's going to be heavy snow. This is a very deep low, a lot of moisture. So when it dumps snow, it's going to be a heavy volume right there. During the noontime of the 24th, now we get into convection. You see these split three-way branches like this? These things kind of do these. One orb will take stuff this way and it'll create weather pulling up this way. Another will take a branch this way and it'll have weather coming up into it. Another will go up this way. So it's kind of, it's interesting watching the weather move with these things interacting now. So I'm just going to stick with this model. Okay. That'll be your convection. Everybody in this region, take this seriously tomorrow, okay? All the other guys, all the other weather reporters are starting to freak out a little bit at this event tomorrow, okay? Then we go into the nighttime hours. It could still be pretty strong down here in this quadrant over Indiana, Illinois. That could shift. It could be back down in here. Sometimes it shows the pocket area being up here and it ends up being down there. Sometimes it shows the pocket area being, this area and it ends up being up here. So no matter where they're saying, pay attention. This is what they're just saying possibly for tomorrow night, the 24th, going into the morning of the 25th, noon, convection. See this low right here? Nighttime. See that low? Just kind of sneak in there. There's noon, convection, nighttime. That's going to be dangerous right there, too. Everybody watch that event, nighttime of the 25th. Morning. Now that, if that hits Iowa and these people during the morning hours, during overnight through the morning hours, getting intense like that, the morning of the 26th, everybody warn those people in that area. Warn your friends in that area. There's noontime the 26th. Convection the 26th. Don't lose track of this back here too. Nighttime of the 26th. It's so scattered that everybody, Ohio, Pennsylvania, back down here to Tennessee, Kentucky, up here to Wisconsin, all just scattered all across that area. Individual little isolated pockets doing their own things, kind of heading their own trajectories. So it's going to be a multifaceted thing to follow. And these storm runners or storm chasers are working double time, overtime. Boom. So yeah, Michigan, sweetie, I know you're going to pay attention, aren't you? Okay. And warn your neighbors up there in Michigan that day, okay? And any of these days when you see weather creeping in, okay, there's Iowa. Everybody in Iowa, the morning of the 26th. People in Illinois, Indiana, the noon, going into Michigan, noontime. Convection. We're talking Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan now. Back here, South Dakota, Nebraska as well. And no telling. There might be a different component that pops in there and surprises. Then the nighttime. Okay, Ohio, Pennsylvania, like I said, Kentucky, Tennessee, down that region, Michigan, Wisconsin area up in there. Now, the noontime of the 27th, convection the 27th, right here, convection down there. Nighttime, another nighttime event. The night of the 27th down here, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas region. That whole bullseye right there. And again, there's the morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime. Well, I hate that. I keep doing that at this site. So used to other ones where you can drag stuff. This one, if you lay fingers on it. There's the morning of the 27th. Let's get this back into gear again. Morning of the 27th, noon, convection, nighttime of the 27th. Morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime again. Morning of the 29th, noon, convection, New York, nighttime, New York, New Hampshire, up there. Morning of the 30th, Oklahoma, Texas, noon, convection, nighttime. Back up into Nebraska, Kansas, down in here, okay? Morning of the 31st, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 30th, June 1st, morning time already. Noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. Just tad there, still having nighttime activity. Morning of the 3rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. Well, all right, that was enough. You could see the point I was trying to prove there is every night we're having nighttime activity. Somewhere in the country, there is nighttime thunderstorm activity. Here, we'll just play the movie. So it's this daily thing of, activity blossoming, noon, convection, going nocturnal, and morning time thunderstorms. And just these nocturnal after nocturnal after nocturnal after nocturnal events, day in and day out. Somewhere's having a nocturnal event. All right, the weather has changed. And these maps, this is just a simple one that I don't have access to some of the nicer maps and tools that everybody else does. This one's kind of very simple and basic for the layman, and it's easier for the audience to grasp and understand. So we stick with this model, but all is subject to change. We don't have much energy coming in from the sun to enhance anything, thankfully, because it would be a nightmare to see one of these things enhanced even more. All right, so enough of that. All the point you've been waiting for is back over here, Adventure Sky. Our anomaly is back again. This is, May 23rd, 2024, which was today. This is the last frame of it. There were 3 frames. 1, 2, yeah. All right, so I'm taking you just a couple frames before. I want you to note the water in the region. There's our first indication. Then it disappears. And we have our residual effects that was still kind of there approaching. You see how it kind of got intense as it, right before the event. See how this kind of approaches? It gets intense during the event and then fades after the event. I'm trying to kind of go fast here so you can get the motion effect of it. So almost like there's some preloading or something here again. Let's see. Now, go over to the Into Thin Air channel. He's the one who discovered this first, and he did a report on it tonight. And when he captures it, he goes into the future and catches the other frames that they project. Whoops. When they project that water inundation wave height could reach, up into Africa and then go out into the Atlantic and everything, which happened last time. And now I want to come over to our water inundation map and just kind of show you some areas to, well, to start considering, regardless of this event. Coastal inundation dashboard, there it is. Hello, J Paso. You made it, bud. I see you all the time over at Marv. I was wondering when I was going to see you here. Okay, let's give this little instrument a second to pull up here. I want to dig up some of those and just kind of show you this map. All right, of water inundation map. Can we get this out of there? Thank you. And let's go into just this area real quick. For instance, here's Virginia Beach, okay? And this is an interesting tool because you can get right into the city, down to the block, and see where your water inundation might creep into. All right. And then it's a good map also to see your low-lying areas where if there was a sea level rise or any kind of tsunami type event where water would rise, these would be all the areas that would get inundated by water. This is not water coming down from the mountains and rivers. This is water pushing up through here where it would inundate, all right? Let's just get this part right here. So let's take it off. So we see them, that area would be covered with water. So you can come over to this little thing and remove it. Say you find your area and it's under there or something, you can remove it and then see what area would be flooded, how deep inland it would go. If you live on a river or something on the shoreline of a river, it could go up inland into river and stuff like that. Now, this is your inundation map. This isn't actually occurring right now. But what you do is you come over to these little pins, and these little pins are all position stations. And when you see one blinking, that means there's water inundation in that area. Okay? So, nothing right now. Oh, we got this one, but it's probably nothing. Now, on their little charts, the red line, can we zoom in a little more? The red line indicates your current thing. The lighter blue line is your flood stage one, and then your normal activity is the blue one. All right, predictions is the the dark blue. Observed is the red line, and then forecast is the the light blue one. Okay, so they're forecasting flooding here, but it didn't make it. It's below flood stage at that one right there. For instance, that's how you read one of these little monitors that's blinking. So in the future here, if this is indeed one of these events over here at Venture Sky, this water inundation here, or this uplift, this water bulge. There it is right there. And then something about this. Okay, these red indicates the wave height in this area. All right, these are all 25, 26-foot waves. See all these little white little guys? These are indicating the direction of your waves. In this region, they're 30 feet, 31 feet. Okay, that's the height of the waves. That is not a wave. That is a dome. Let's go in really tight to the edges here, and I want to kind of go through this. Can we get tight on the numbers? All right. So right here, we're at 16 feet. As we go closer in, 19 feet, 22 feet, 25 feet, 27, 31. And then we get to this boundary, we're at 41 feet, 45, 50 feet. And then the deeper we get in, the higher it goes until the maximum height that this instrument detects, 83.7 feet. And this thing probably goes higher than that because you see the sharp increase. If it was going up at this increase and then back down, it's probably much higher than 83 feet. Now, everybody's thinking, oh my God, you'd be able to notice that. No, not necessarily. On a big open body of water, and you'd have to be right next to it. You'd have to be like standing or on a boat right here and see the bulge from close up. Otherwise, if you're looking from shore, it's too far out. The curvature of the earth is not going to show you this thing. You're not going to see it very well unless you're in a ship next to it, or maybe if you see it from the air. Now, there is the island down there that could be possibly doing something, their weather weapon or whatever, but the way this chart is indicating, this is a dome or a bulge in the water. Now, such effect would happen if we had another interstellar body with a gravitational effect lifting, as it passes by like this, it would lift a little bit of water up, just like the moon does our tides. The fact that a celestial body can lift water is already proven by our moons with our tides. So that concept should be easily grasped. The fact that the gravity from another stellar body could lift water up, it doesn't lift a big wave up, it just focuses on an area, pulls up water in the shape of a dome, and then as it passes, it releases that grip, and that water drops back down to sea level and sloughs and radiates out like that. The slough will radiate out, and if it's so far away, the further away you are from it, the less effect it'll have. So the inundation that we get up here would maybe 1 to 2 feet, where down here, if it went and hit the coast of Africa, they could have 5 to 6 feet or, higher amounts because it's closer to the epicenter. Now, as we watch this grow in size, all right, so here's your opening frame. All right, it's already kind of got this flat bottom and your pointed top. It continues to do the teardrop effect growing in size, and then there's your mature, almost like a boat hull looking shape with a bow and a stern right here. If something were passing by here, the earth is curved, all right? So I've seen this map turned into a sphere, and I'm trying to find the app or the little indication here where I can change this map into a ball, because when you do that, this thing appears to be round and not oval shaped. It's oval shaped because it's on a flat map. But if you stretch this out over a curved map, it would be round like a ball, which would be the exact shape we would see from a gravity-induced passing. The odd thing is it's in the same place every time. Okay, now that makes me think, hey, it could be this island. It could be, hot water coming out of there or something. But now we have seen these spheres controlling water, controlling the weather. They can position themselves. They position themselves by the sun at a certain angle, at a certain area of the sun. If you were to look at hold that thought right there. I got to pull up this as an example now. Give me the null skull, please. All I'm trying to do is show you a little example here. So we got a nice sphere right here. Okay, let's take you down to this area. All right, what we're looking at is on a flat map. If it was over a curved map, you'd have a round circular area. All right, so you got water that lifts up in this region. Okay, one of these objects likes a certain band around the planet. There are different magnetic field lines and different bands. This could maybe like a certain band to attach to or something. Maybe lifting water in this region and dropping it back down, the desired effect from it would cause weather effects, different coastal inundation effects, to possibly cause different volcanic effects and stuff as well. But what was the point I was going to try to make here is this is a region on a sphere that we've seen activity of these spheres latching onto the sun down in regions like this, at this latitude, this longitude. There's something about the electromagnetic field maybe in that region. I don't know. Everybody says it could be a glitch, but it's weird how we have side effects from this glitch. Real side effects, weather, coastal inundation side effects, residual waves. Like after this event ends, there's still all these high waves in that region that will continue on from it. And again, it almost kind of, the area seems to get ready for it as it closes in. Those spires that we see coming off the sun as indicators? Well, here we got this area kind of getting ready as this thing approaches. It's pulling waves higher and higher and higher and higher in this area. And then it shows up. Waves get really, really dark in this area. Okay. 30 feet there. Right in the wake of that. Oops. It just seems like one of our spheres could position itself right there, lift some water for a little while, hold it, and then lower it back down. Got to remember, this is over the course of 3 hours, these little gaps right here. So from this height right here till the next frame, where they could have scrubbed it too or whatever. But if it did drop that fast, that's a 3-hour time frame. That's doable. So either way, our anomaly is captured again, glitch, whatever. It's a glitch that has side effects on the Earth. So it's back again. All right, and I just showed you a couple other, the other night, a small little event just like this happened. It was 2 or 3 frames, but it was smaller in the same region, but smaller. So it's not identical every time. This one looks identical to some previous ones. But I'll let you be the judge of that too. I've shown you water bulges over Lake Erie. And what was the other one we just saw that was over, had fog in it too. The fog was actually had a lift in it as well as the bulge under the water did as well. And I mean, it would explain this. I've heard some other explanations, but there's still kind of some loose ends on theirs. And the only thing that's loose end on this is that it keeps happening in the same spot. So it could be a magnetic, field line attachment where these objects like to go. It could be our government that's doing this, or some government of the planet. This may be one of our weapons that we're using, or something. But it appears that this is not just a wave; it's a dome. It's a bulge of water. That's what the instrumentation is indicating, that it's a dome, that it's a bulge of water. Well, what would cause such a bulge? And if it's not man-made, and I don't think it's water, I don't think it's pressure underneath pushing, there's volcanic activity that bubbled up and pushed a big 80-foot high bulge of water. No. It lifted up calmly and then set back down. So there it is again. I also want to go over here real quick. I want to check that region for the ocean temperatures, see what's going on under the water there. Hello? Did you not? There we go. And it's this spot, like right around there. Let me take that down. I'll let you be the judge of that too. Where to go? This one. So, like I said, this little point, Cape Town, this little nipple type thing is pointing directly at it. And if we come back over to here, there's a little nipple point right out in this region, right out here. Okay, so there is a little heat anomaly, but I don't think that's what would be causing it. This is a little further over off the tip. This is out here. So I don't think it's heat causing it. And if there's the ice shelf right there and we're having hot water shoot out or something that I heard was a theory, there's no plumes. I mean, if it was something like this down in Antarctica and we're seeing the big bulge come out of here, I would say hot water is pushing, cold water up or something, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. I'll let you be the judge of this as well, okay? I'm not trying to tell you what to think, but I will teach you how to think, because they forgot to do that in school. I told you what to think. Believe everything the media tells you. They're the gospel. Yeah, you can trust your media. The known liars. Trust them. Okay, so anyways, doesn't appear to be like a heat signature, heat anomaly. There is activity in that region, but not to the intensity that would cause something like that. Especially, whoops, we can take that down now. Especially in the same area. Sorry, I keep bouncing back and forth here. But it happened again. Let's just play it one more time. Boom, boom, boom. And then you want to see more, go over to Into Thin Air. It's all one name. Into, I think it is the number 2. In the number 2 Thin Air. And he's the one that originally reported on this. And he's got more data that shows that he goes into the future, like future casting, past the actual time that it's going. And they future cast where it might go. So if you wanted to see more of that, you could go over to his channel for more of that. All right. So there is your weather, geomagnetic, geomagnetic. Oh, God, we got all kinds of stuff now. Geophysics, astrophysics, and now for some metaphysics. some food for the soul, all right? Because what we've been watching is very disturbing and it can ruffle your feathers and get you all anxious and paranoid and scared. And that's not what this is all about. This is not, you're not here to be fearful. I'm here to become courageous. And now, what am I doing here? Oh, I wanted to pull up. No. And don't do it. Hey, look, there's Hopkinson. Hi, sweetie. Oh, where did it go? Is this one? Nope. It's not the one I wanted, but we can go back and skip your ad. And we'll try this again. There we go. Oh, what? Okay, thanks. Yeah, all the good evidence is getting scrubbed here. All right. There's a good one. All right, not pareidolia. All right, that's a real face in the clouds. God using the colors of the sunset, the shading and everything to make a three-dimensional object. Well, make something appear three-dimensional. Okay, and it's a face. You're supposed to be seeking a face, right? Bobby tells you seek a face, seek my face. What does that mean? Well, when you're looking and you look up and you're seeking faces, when you're looking up, all of a sudden you see, oh, a face in the clouds. Ah, that's how you seek his face, is by looking up. So there's that one. And we'll get rid of this venture sky. I can put another one on this thing. This will be walking in the clouds. Oh wait, I got that on bookmark too. Where did they go? Lurking in the clouds.
Oh no. Holy fucking shit. I'm gonna get video of it because it's about rain around. Holy fuck.
No, I don't know.
All right. There was that one. That was not the video. But I wanted to get right about there. No, it's at 56. Slow down a little bit. Just trying to capture the one little frame where he bumps. There we go. Okay, a real event there. Should have grabbed headlines, should have made news around the world. I don't understand what's wrong with this planet. We've been waiting 2,000 years for the best news in the world, and then it happens and everybody avoids it and pretends like it's not happening. Meanwhile, we're all watching the political circus, and it's just there's more going on. And then in there was the EVP. He is the Christ who's coming quickly. And this last one says he's now here, right now here. So important that you know that. We could go through that again some night and we'll play all the EVPs, but not tonight. I just wanted to bring up that image. There was a gentleman who was asking what's your rod? It's lightning. Here, let's dim this real quick so we can see this image a tad bit better and get it full screen, please. You see him holding lightning in one image. The other is a staff in the shadow. So his staff is lightning. And there's good indication of right there. There he is in the clouds, all right? So if you're caught up with this, you're caught up in the clouds and what's going on in the clouds. And then we'll pull up this one as well. Oh, that's what I have to do. I have to do some, I have to go through thousands of pictures. I want to pull up that one where Jesus is pulling his shirt open and exposing his heart. The actual picture, not the video that we always just kind of refer back to the video or whatever. I want to go find that picture and then we'll make that part of the show so we have a much better image of that instead of having to flex the screen and do all kinds of other stuff for an image that is priceless. It is so powerful and moving that you understand that this is real. What happened to me was not fun. Okay, it was very, very scary, very disturbing. Turned my life upside down, backward from forward, and one thing that I did not expect, it turned my life inside out. I didn't think that would be possible. I could see turning your life upside down, right? Had that happen many times. I could see doing a 180 and turning around, but I've never been turned inside out before. Whoops, wrong one. That was supposed to be this image again. The one with him pulling his heart open. It's very important that you guys get that one stuck in your head as well. Real images. In fact, I need to get the timestamp on this one. Right about there. It's good. And we'll do this a little bit there so you can see. The Lord and Savior is a man of heart, of love, peace, forgiveness. Okay? You're being tested. You're in a trial right now, and he knows that. He understands that. He can relate, and you're not being punished, you're being tested. Or everybody says, what's the meaning of life? The old question, the age-old question, what's the meaning of life? You ready? It's a test of character. It's a test of faith. Your life is a test. It's a test of character. It's a test of your faith. It's a trial. How well do you endure? Are you going to cry and complain, or are you going to take it standing up and fighting? Because it's a lot easier to endure when you're standing up and fighting than it is to just lay down and get kicked. Okay? And we're fighting with peace and love. It's an odd concept, but that's what wins the battle time and time again. All right, so very important. These are all real events. You guys need to get that into your head. When you see this stuff, that's a real event too. I didn't record this. Other people are catching real events now. The paranormal world is real. Why do you think for ages and throughout history, society after society has always talked about paranormal activity? Why are they talk about angels and stuff back in history? People got, pretty vivid imaginations back then, or no? It was because they were having real visitations, and it was real. What you think life is totally different. Okay, you're on this planet as as a test, and I got some tricks to help you through this test. All right, some stuff that I've learned, that I've experienced myself firsthand. All right, there's a big difference between an expert, a so-called self-proclaimed expert who has no experience, and somebody who doesn't claim to be an expert but just has some experience and some notes. So, everybody, at this point, take a couple of deep breaths. All the way in, hold it for 5 to 10 seconds, exhale slowly, get comfortable, get in position with your, wherever it is that you're doing, because everybody's got their own little styles here, okay? And it's important that everybody gets comfortable in their own way. This image right here should not spook you. It looks all scary and demonic or whatever, but it should not spook you. People who know me here know well, we are in a spiritual battle. Okay. Let me see what I was getting to. Actually, I got a little bit more than I thought here. I was looking at the front side of these, and I have all kinds of subnotes on the back. So let me back up a little bit and start you guys. There's that concept, but it bleeds to that one. And we can reverse bleed back to this. Okay, so now we're starting there, and we're going to start with no. We got one more image to pull up. Sorry, I didn't get her done. And then we'll get to the reading. So everybody, be patient. We're learning patience too. All right, hopefully, yes. Okay, when you seek my face, you look up. All right, you'll notice there's wars. You'll see rumors of wars. They're all indications that I'm here. So when you see those indications that I'm here, you look up and you will see. Come on now, you can do it, you two. We made it this far. Come on. Pulling up another image of my face. Okay, here we go. So it says, seek my face, seek my face. Well, what is it about that? Well, when you seek his face, you'll find it in miraculous places all of a sudden. This is the face out by the moon. I think the audience here has seen this video already and understands how this video was procured, or how this gentleman captured this. Okay, and that's my face right there, shining down on you. And while you look at my face shining down on you, be still in the light of my presence while I communicate love to you. There is no force in the universe as powerful as my love. You are constantly aware of your limitations, your own and others' limitations, but there is no limit to my love. It fills all of space, it fills all of time, and it fills all of eternity. Okay, now you see through a glass darkly, but someday you will see me face to face. I'll come up and give you a big hug. Then you will be able to experience fully how wide and long and high and deep is my love for you. If you were to experience that right now, you would be overwhelmed to the point of feeling crushed. But you have an eternity ahead of you, absolutely guaranteed now, during which you can enjoy my presence in an unrestricted ecstasy. But for now, the knowledge of my loving presence here now is sufficient to carry you through each day. Now I'll flip over to the backside of the other one. And when you do that, okay, you end up resting in my presence. So again, take a deep breath. You see my face. Let's change images here. Get the warning out of there. All right, whatever. X out of that. Now, rest in my presence. Allow me to take charge of each day. Don't just bolt into your day like a racehorse suddenly released from the gates. Instead, walk purposefully with me, letting me direct your steps along the way, one step at a time. Thank you. Finally, that went down. Okay. Each step, it's like each day has 1,000 steps going through, or even more, through each day. So instead of just jumping up and running, take a moment, find a little bit of peace first, and then walk purposefully with me, letting me direct your course one step at a time. Then thank me for each blessing along the way. There's all kinds of treasures and blessings along the way if you know what to look for. If you've run into somebody you haven't seen in a long time and they bring a smile to your face, all kinds of blessings. They just come in so many different forms. But when you see one, recognize it for the blessing that it is, and then you thank me for each blessing along the way, and that brings joy to both you and me. I see you growing. That brings me joy, okay? You see the blessings along the way. That brings you joy. And when I see you recognizing your blessings on your path and saying, hey, thank you. I saw that. That was the blessing. I recognize it and thank you. That's what brings joy. That's what brings joy to you, is when you recognize your blessings. And when you recognize those, it brings joy to you, but it brings joy to me. A grateful heart. See this heart right here? A grateful heart protects you from negative thinking. Okay? What's going to protect you from negative thinking? That grateful heart. Making a list of gratefuls is a good thing to do. Thankfulness, which is gratefulness, enables you to see the abundance I have already showered upon you, and I shower upon you daily. Most of it goes unrecognized. Pretty much 99.9% goes unrecognized. You might see one little hint and go, "Oh, that was weird. That was like a blessing." Yeah, you caught the one of the 1,000. Every single thing that you do in your life is a blessing once you recognize them. Okay? And you'll recognize them once you have that thankful and grateful heart. It's that thankfulness that enables you to see the abundance that I shower upon you. And your prayers and petitions are winged into the heavens throne room, where they are permeated with thanksgiving. In everything, give thanks, for this is my will for you. One of the things I do before this show is an intense prayer session for you guys. I pray for my audience. Lord, please give them the strength and endurance and the peace to accept the knowledge that we're giving them. It's very disturbing, and they're going to need it, Lord. Please give them, everything that they're going to need for this show. Okay? And I petition those, so I know that it'll permeate through you, and then in everything I give thanks before I do the prayers, and then I do my prayer. There were so many blessings along the way today. I had protection in traffic today. Do you guys know what protection in traffic is? You guys drive your car around every day and you don't even notice that you are being protected while you're out there. You could collide at any time with any car. There's so many opportunities that you cheat death every day just driving down the road. So protection while out on the roads is a beautiful thing to be thankful for. Then you all of a sudden appreciate how dangerous the roads are and that you have that protection. So you give thanks first, and then you petition. I'm leading you step by step through your life. So hold my hand in trusting dependence, letting me guide you through each day. Okay, let me help you through these days. You're having problems. It's getting rough. Let me help. I know exactly what to do. Okay, I am leading you. Okay, I don't profess to be a leader. A leader cannot profess himself to be a leader. A leader is just some dude doing his thing, and other people get behind and follow. Okay, a leader is nothing without anybody following him. He's just some dude. And you guys are here following, like following on Facebook, right? You subscribe, you like, you're watching, you're following, right? So I'm leading you step by step. Let me help you, guide you through each day. Okay? There's a lot of things that you guys are tripping on in the future, and your future looks uncertain and feels flimsy and even precarious. And that's exactly how it should be. Remember, we're a testing ground here. This is like the Marine boot camp training course. It's not the Motel 6. It's not the Ritz-Carlton, okay? Your future looks uncertain and feels flimsy and precarious, and that's how it should be, because that's what actually tests you now. We're finding the real measure of you. There are secret things that belong to the Lord, and the future things are those secret things. So when you try to figure out the future, you're grasping at things that are mine. And this is like all forms of worry is an act of rebellion. You kind of don't notice it, but it is in a way. So it's got to be careful. Don't try to figure out the future. You're grasping at things that are mine. If you're trying to figure out the future, read the Bible. It tells you the future right there. The whole script for the whole movie, the scriptures. You want to know the future, read the Bible. Otherwise, you're grasping at things that are mine. And like all forms of worry, that future tripping is an act of rebellion. You're doubting my promises to care for you. Oh, do you see that? When you're worrying, you're actually kind of doubting my promises to care for you. Maybe you don't see the blessings, how I care for you. So you're doubting them. So look a little closer at everything as a blessing, and you will stop doubting my promises to care for you. And whenever you find yourself worrying about the future, repent and return to me, and I will show you the next step forward, and then the one after that, and then the one after that. We're just doing one step at a time. Quit trying to run and get to the finish line way too soon, because it's one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. And your forms of worry are kind of like doubting my promises. And when you find yourself doing that, repent, return to me. I'll show you the next step forward. When you've gotten that part down and you can do that, I want you to relax and enjoy the journey in my presence now, trusting me to open up the way before you as you go. Okay? You can't rush into a door that's locked and closed. I gotta go open the door first, okay? So, one step at a time, one moment at a time. While you're doing that, and you see all this stuff going on in the world, okay? Crazy stuff going on in the world. What you look at right there. This would be the crazy stuff, except that's the calm stuff that you can count on. All right? And when you keep your eyes on me, it's important that you do. Keep your eyes on me, because waves of adversity are washing over you, and you feel tempted to give up. As your circumstances consume more and more of your attention, you're losing sight of me. Yet I am always with you, holding you by your right hand. I am fully aware of your situation, and I will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you're able to bear. You're trying to bear tomorrow's today. Quit doing that. Just today's, okay? And I will not allow you to be tempted or pushed beyond what you are able to bear. Your gravest danger, you want to know what your gravest danger is? Your gravest danger is worrying about tomorrow. If you try to carry tomorrow's burdens today, you will stagger under the load and eventually fall flat. This is why I'm trying to help you. You must discipline yourself to live within the boundaries of today, of the moment, of the step, okay? It's in the present moment that I walk close to you, helping you carry your burdens. Okay, you don't need to carry them all. Let me help you. I walk close to you, helping you carry your burdens. So keep your focus on my presence in the present. That means right now, too. Okay, so keep your focus on my presence during your moments through the day. And then also, while we are here at this show, and you are looking at my face, and you are hearing my voice, keep your focus on my presence right here and now in the present moment. Do you see the blessing? Do you understand how blessed you are? What you're looking at? Who's talking to you right now? Okay, another one of these things that's your gravest danger, okay? And I had to do this myself, okay? So I know. Another one of your gravest dangers, besides worrying about tomorrow, is judging and evaluating yourself. Huh? Do we do that? I know. So stop judging and evaluating yourself, for this is not your role. Above all, stop comparing yourself with other people. This produces feelings of pride or inferiority, and sometimes a mixture of both. All right. I'm going to stop right there because this pertains to hot off the street today. Wonderful son of mine says, I'd much rather be sad and depressed in a Lamborghini than sad and depressed in a beat up Volkswagen, hunker junk. And I was like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but the material object is not what buys happiness. And we went into a long discussion, but it was important that he understood that you're not supposed to compare yourself with other people. He wants that. That dude's got a Lamborghini. I want it. That guy's got a nice house. I want it. Oh, look at the pretty lady this guy's with. He's very materialistic, and he thought, hey, it would be better to be depressed in a Lamborghini than to be depressed in a Volkswagen Bug. And I said, what about not just being depressed at all? And he agreed that material things don't buy happiness. And I said, well, each day has its own search for happiness in it. You have to choose to be happy. Okay? And you're not happy when you keep comparing yourself with other people. Stop that. Stop comparing yourself with other people. Stop judging and evaluating yourself. Stop comparing yourself with other people. It produces feelings of pride or inferiority, sometimes a deadly mixture of both. Okay, I lead each of my children along a path that is uniquely tailor-made for him and for her. Okay, everybody's got a uniquely tailor-made. It's not just coincidence. It's not, you're predestined. You are tailor-made to be uniquely the way you are. If we were all the same, how boring would it be? If we all had the same items, how boring would it be? If we all interacted the same way with each other, there has to be a wide variety. Each one of you is uniquely tailor-made. Pretty cool, huh? You need to understand that you're unique. Quit trying to be like any other person on this planet and strive to be uniquely yourself. Okay? You are tailor-made that way. Comparing other people with you is not only wrong, it's meaningless. It's just meaningless. So don't look for affirmation in the wrong places. Your own evaluations or those of other people, okay? Quit looking for affirmation from other people or affirmation from your own evaluations. Quit doing that. Quit looking for affirmation in the wrong places. Those wrong places are your own evaluations and the evaluations of other people. It's all meaningless. The only source of real affirmation is my unconditional love. Many believers perceive me as an unpleasable judge, angrily searching out their faults and failures, but nothing could be farther from the truth. I died for your sins so that I might clothe you in my garments of salvation. And this is how I see you, radiant in my robe of righteousness. You're here at this show right now. You're captivated. You're caught up with me in the clouds here. We've joined in the air of cyberspace. That makes you kind of technically what you guys call raptured. You're really radiant in my robe of righteousness now, aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you radiant in my robe of righteousness right now? If you're not, keep working at it. Maybe you just don't trust me enough. Okay? You're already in it if you want it that bad. Now, when I discipline you, it's never in anger or disgust. When I discipline you, it's never in anger or disgust. It is to prepare you for face-to-face fellowship with me. Okay? You're going to be hanging out with the number one guy in the universe for all eternity. You got to make it through the door. You got to pass the doorman, right? We don't want some riffraff busting up this party, right? So you got to pass the moral code. You're going to be a divine person, face to face, fellowshipping with me for eternity. So when I discipline you, it's not in anger or disgust. It's to prepare you. Okay, every single thing that you're enduring is to prepare you to meet me face to face. And it might not seem like a big deal, but when I come up next to you and you recognize my voice, you don't see me yet, but you hear me in the crowd right next to you talking to somebody, you're going to recognize my voice. And the moment you do, I'll know that you did, and I'll walk over to you. And then you're gonna see my face, hear my voice, and you will definitely, you'll know. I'll give you a nice big old hug. And that will be your affirmation. That will be your real source of affirmation when I come up and give you an unconditional hug. Yeah, get ready. I'm preparing you for face-to-face fellowship with me throughout all eternity. So immerse yourself in my loving presence and be receptive to my affirmation, which flows continually from the throne of grace. Okay? It's a gift. I give it to you because, well, if you want it, it's there. Some people don't want this gift. It's just the weirdest thing. Now, I know the guys are getting all kind of weird, questioning. Oh, what happens if, he's wrong and I'm believing the wrong thing? And blah, blah. Come on, look at that. I showed you my face the other night. That's me when I'm in my 20s, mid-20s, whatever, a little younger version of me right there. Okay, but that's a real man, a real face, a real person. Okay, why do you think you're a person? You're made in the image of God, right? And you're a person. That would make God a person. After all, is a word made flesh, not cloud, but flesh. Okay, so if you're kind of questioning if you're on the right path or not, you are on the right path. Listen more to me and less to your doubts. I am leading you along the way I designed just for you. Therefore, it is a lonely way, humanly speaking, but I go before you as well as alongside of you. So you are never alone. Okay? You're never alone. I'm always next to you. Your imaginary, invisible friend when you were a kid that you used to talk to, all right? You had an imaginary friend that you used to talk to, whatever. There was a presence there, huh? And you talked to it. You had an imaginary friend that you couldn't see, but you could sense a presence there, and you talked to an imaginary friend, gave it a name and everything. It's because there was a presence next to you the whole time. There always is, and there always will be. Always will be. I will always be by your side. You are on the right path. Listen more to me and less to your doubts. Don't just let me lead, follow along the way I designed just for you. I am leading you along the way, but are you following? I'm not. It's hard to say. I'm not trying to be the leader who's leading you. I am just going along the way. And are you following or not? The way I designed just for you. If you are, therefore, it is a lonely way, humanly speaking. But remember, I go before you as well as alongside you, so you are never alone. Do not expect anyone to understand fully my ways with you any more than you can comprehend my dealings with others. So I am revealing to you the path of life day by day and moment by moment. And as I said to my disciple Peter, as I say to you who are also my followers, follow me. Follow me. It's your choice. Got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I'm just a man going my direction. If you follow me, then while I'm leading, I would be out front, right? If you were following behind me. So that would technically put me out front, which would make a leader, but I don't proclaim to be the leader. I lead anyway each of my children along a path that is uniquely tailor-made for him or her. Whether you decide to follow or not is up to you. But when you do, wonderful things happen. All of a sudden, some miracles start happening in your life. This, well, I want to use the term magical without everybody getting all cultish thinking, oh, it's magic, it's not biblical. It's just a term. There should be a magical feeling inside your heart right now when you're looking at me, you hear my voice, and you understand you are raptured. You are caught up with me in the clouds. You look up, you see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. You see all the signs going around. You look up, you see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. You get caught up, fascinated, intrigued with me in the clouds. You're caught up with me in the clouds. We met in the air of cyberspace. Therefore, you are what you would call raptured, even though that term is not in the Bible. And many people will be disappointed because they are all looking for the rapture right now. And it is happening right now, but not in the way that everyone was expecting, not the way that Hollywood portrayed. And they're missing out on the rapture, aren't they? But you're not. So if you're disappointed that you didn't get lifted up into the air like in Hollywood, well, at least take a little comfort that you are caught up with me in the clouds. So you are technically raptured. It's a feeling inside now. I have completed your faith into knowing. And now you understand. Come back here, sit down. Now you understand your purpose in life. You're being tested. We're at spiritual warfare here. The spiritual warfare is not taking place on some battlefield in an ancient country. The spiritual warfare battlefield is in your brain, in your mind. It's a fight for your mind. The media is controlling, manipulating you, getting you all stirred up and worried about this and that. We got a bunch of criminals who basically stole this and runaway train now. Okay? We all see it. We see what they're doing. They're leading us to not good things. But relax, breathe, be at peace. This is all part of the process, okay? And look at yourself in your situation right now. You're not bleeding out. You got roof over your head and some food in your stomach and some electricity to run your internet so you're able to see me right here, right now. So if you're able to be with me right here, right now, your situation is not all that bad, is it? So very important that we look at life from the proper perspective, from the truthful perspective, and then we see the actual path of life. We understand now it's a test of character, it's a test of faith. How well are you doing so far? Are you practicing some of these little tricks that I've taught you? Because they're just to help. It's only they're only tools to help you through each day, each moment. Because some people have great days all day. Others of us have rough days. From the moment we get out of bed, it's excruciatingly painful, and each day is a battle. Okay? And you have your ups and downs. Those downs can hold you down all day if you let them. But we are in the salvage business. I want you to repeat that out loud to yourself right now. I am in the salvage business. I'm in the business of salvaging my day. When something goes wrong, say a quick prayer, recognize I'm with you, take a few deep breaths, regain your composure, and try to go positively forward. You're going to get knocked down again. It'll get frustrating. Get back up, deep breath, regain composure, one step at a time, one moment at a time. Some of us have to struggle one moment at a time, let alone one step at a time. So it'll get hard, it'll get rough, it'll get scary, and you're going to need these tools here in the future to stay calm from one moment to the next moment. To the next moment. Something big happens in the news, don't get shaken or rocked. Move into the next moment, breathe, and step by step by step forward at a pace that I set. Don't try to run when we're doing steps. We're doing baby steps and you're trying to sprint at the finish line. Nope, wait. This is the corner right here. It's a really tight corner. If you try to sprint through that corner, it's wet. You're going to slip and fall on your head. This is the corner where we take baby steps each moment. Okay? I'm in the salvage business. Remind yourself, I'm in the salvage business. Sometimes it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. There's just some things you cannot change and it's stressing you out. Grant me the serenity. You're looking for serenity. So God, grant me the serenity. Then you must accept that you cannot change things. You got to have courage to change the things you can. Well, there's only one thing you can change, and that's yourself. So now you have to have the courage to change yourself. Realize you can't change the world around you, but you can change yourself. Use those tools I gave you to work on changing yourself. I'm holding you by your right hand. I'm walking you through this. Together, we will make it. Just step by step, moment by moment, one day at a time, okay? I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Headlines. He's already here. When's he come? When's he going to be here? No, I've been here for a long time. You guys just didn't know. Like you said, you'd be in the middle of it before you recognized you were in it. Huh. Yeah. You were almost at the end of it. And you're just now recognizing that you're in it. Okay. And all those tools that I give you are real tools. They really work. That's from experience. Okay. An expert is an expert through experience, not because he took a course with a piece of paper that said, yeah, you paid for this course. No, it's blood, sweat, and tears out there in the real world, applying it in real time. It's called applied physics. Now go apply it. Go apply some love. Spread love, peace. Help other people. Okay? That's what you asked for. You said you wanted to be a helper when this all went down. That's what you said. You said to me, I want to be a helper when this all goes down. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do it then. You're going to bump into me along the line, and I'm going to show you how this is done. Okay, so take courage. You're on the right path. I love you. I miss you. God bless you. And until my next show, I will be back. Headlines, I'm already back. And you guys should rejoice. I'll see you soon. Bye.